Hello and welcome to the video. Amazon, Apple, Microsoft, Facebook and Alphabet, the company who owns Google, are huge companies, and this affords them a great deal of power. As tech companies make huge amounts of money, questions are being asked about whether their size and wealth is ultimately a good thing for society or not. Today we dive into some of the issues around these monopolies and explore some of the solutions. If you're new to the channel, my name is Ollie and this is Economics Unlocked. Traditionally, monopolies are seen as a problem because they result in higher prices for consumers and what are known as supernormal profits for companies. But many tech companies don't charge for their services. Let's take Google. They provide a search engine, maps including Street View and satellite images, as well as an entire office suite and many other services completely free of charge. On the surface, lots of free stuff seems like a good thing for the consumer, but there are other issues. Many argue that big tech is trying its hardest to stifle competition and reduce innovation. For consumers, this means a lack of choice and a lack of quality, as they are left with whatever big tech decides we need. In 2001, Microsoft lost an antitrust case against the United States for abusing its market position to make its web browser Internet Explorer the market leader. By making the application free to anyone with Windows and later forcing anyone buying the Windows operating system to use Internet Explorer, Microsoft abused its power in operating systems to give itself a large market share in web browsers, at its peak reaching 96% market share. Many argue that the case against Microsoft cleared the way for other browsers such as Google Chrome, and perhaps without this we would all be using Bing instead of Google. A pattern emerged when Google lost an antitrust case against the EU for tying its browser to Google's mobile operating system, Android, and was fined over €4 billion. Perhaps this ruling will pave the way for new mobile browsers like the Cake browser. Google was also fined €2 billion by the EU for suppressing price comparison websites in its search results to favour its own price comparison service, Google Shopping, which is built into Google Search. Some people suggest that fines are not enough and that the best way to stop companies from abusing their power is to take it away and split them up. One such case for this is splitting Amazon Web Services from the retail aspect of Amazon to prevent abuses of power. Amazon Web Services provides systems to manage other companies' websites. It runs the back end of Zoom and Fortnite, but many argue that Amazon Web Services can overcharge its online rivals and then use the profits to subsidize its own websites and products. This amount of power is why people suggest AWS should be split off, much like BT and OpenReach were split in the UK. This move would prevent Amazon from exerting pressure on its rivals and make for a more competitive marketplace. Sometimes monopolies can form because they have lower costs than new firms entering the market, and so can produce things much cheaper than their rivals. But in Amazon's case, it is accused of selling significantly below cost to drive competitors out of the market. One example of this is a company selling baby products called diapers.com, owned by a company called Quidsy. In 2009, Amazon wanted to buy Quidsy and enter the baby products market itself, but Quidsy wouldn't sell. So Amazon lowered their prices 30% below diapers.com and then lowered them again automatically whenever diapers.com tried to change theirs. At one point, Quidsy executives calculated that Amazon was on track to lose $100 million in 3 months on diapers. This kind of practice can only work because of Amazon's size, and it results in less choice and higher prices for consumers in the long run. Perhaps this could be solved by banning firms from selling below cost, as is the case in France. Big tech also shows increasing power in new ways, and this may require new ways of thinking. The European Union has launched its laws regarding consumers' data and believes these companies have denied people proper control over their data and privacy. Additionally, the international element of the internet has made it easy for these companies to avoid paying the same taxes that traditional high street businesses do. Free market forces do not work effectively if high street shops pay business rates and corporation taxes while online giants do not. Whether the end of the high street is inevitable or not, its end is undoubtedly being sped up by these unfair taxes. Many countries, including the UK, have launched digital services taxes, which tax firms on the revenue they generate in a country. a tax which cannot be avoided by having your headquarters in the Cayman Islands or in Luxembourg. These new approaches by governments are welcome, and it's perhaps wrong for politicians to cling to traditional economic ideology going forward. But others argue that big tech firms are not as powerful as you might think. Canadian company Shopify competes fiercely with Amazon, but in a different way. Shopify builds shopping sites for other companies and claims that consumers prefer being able to connect directly with a seller that doesn't hide as a third-party company on the Amazon website. The company has grown rapidly, and if this is truly how consumers feel, then the demise of Amazon's shopping site itself may come sooner rather than later. Online, it is relatively easy for consumers to type in a different address and use a different company's service. Some argue that the current big tech firms will soon disappear of their own accord, and Austrian economist Joseph Schumpeter coined the winds of creative destruction, meaning that good or bad, things will always come to an end, and in its place, better things will come about. Perhaps then the real power is still held by consumers and their shopping habits. But ultimately, governments and lawmakers should be looking to increase innovation and increase consumer welfare, and it seems unlikely, given these firms' histories, that the Big Five will support these aims willingly. That's it for this video. Stay posted for our new videos every Saturday. Thank you very much for watching. Have a wonderful day.